welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Salima and today I'm showing you how to make a tripleta. This is an epic Puerto Rican sandwich that uses 3 different kinds of meat, as the name would suggest. It's also known for having these crunchy potato sticks, lots of mayo ketchup, all served on a fluffy sweet bread. Let me show you how to make it. So the first step would be picking the kind of meats you want to use. Typically it's some combination of pork, beef, and chicken, but lots of recipes will just use deli meat. Maybe they'll use like a roasted pork shoulder and a deli ham. You can use really whatever is accessible to you. Today I'm using this finely cut steak that I just seasoned with some salt, pepper, and adobo. And we're just going to sear that steak off until it is cooked to your desired doneness. Obviously, steak is one of those things that's really up to personal preference, so you can cook this, again, up to your preference. And as I mentioned earlier, the kinds of meat that you choose will really dictate how complex or simple this recipe is going to be. If you don't have steak or don't have the time to make a steak, you could just grab roast beef or some kind of pre-cooked steak at the store, but there is really something about cooking all of these meats yourself that just takes this sandwich to the next level. So once that's done, I'm adding in my leftover pernil, which is just roasted pork shoulder that I had sitting in my freezer from the holidays. I'm adding a little bit of broth to just help keep it from drying out. Again, if you don't have pernil sitting around in your freezer, you can just use pork from the grocery store. You can just roast some pork yourself or use diced ham if that's easier. You can even buy like pre-made carnitas and just use those. And then finally, my third meat that I chose is just some deli chicken. Now, sometimes I'll use like chicken thighs that I'll roast in the oven, but I kind of like using some kind of deli meat because I just like the flavor and the saltiness that it adds. And we're just warming all of these up in the pan before we assemble our sandwich. For my bread, I'm using homemade pan sobao, but you could totally just use a baguette from the store or pan de agua. And then it's super essential to start with a thick, generous layer of mayoketchup. Then it's time to layer on all 3 of our meats. And of course, we're being super generous, fitting in as much as possible here. And then for that crispy, crunchy potato element, you can either buy these potato sticks, which are, I think, traditionally called shoestring fries, or you can just use your favorite kind of potato chip from the store. And then optional, I am using a little bit of lettuce and tomato just to add a little bit of freshness in there. You can skip this if it feels performative to you. And then we're finishing this off with, again, another layer of mayo ketchup before adding our top piece of bread. And you can toast the bread either before or after assembling the sandwich. It's kind of up to you. But then your tripleta is all done. This sandwich really just feels like a celebration of meat, because I can't really name that many dishes where you eat 3 different kinds of meat in one sitting. It's decadent, it's a treat. And it is so salty and savory and flavorful. You got that crunchy potato, the creamy mayo ketchup, and all of those flavorful meats in one bite, plus that kind of subtly sweet bread. It really is just something you have to try for yourself. Thanks for being here, and I will see you next time. Buen provecho!